This time on episode 196 of Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., we discuss Iron Fist, Immortal Emerges From Cave, and weekly Marvel news.
I'm Jason from the Digital Suit Podcast, a proud member of the Gonna Geek Network, just like the show you're listening to now. The opinions expressed are those of each individual. Check out all the other podcasts at GonnaGeek.com and get ready because geekiness begins in 3, 2, 1.
You have been granted clearance by Director Phil Coulson. Stand by for S.H.I.E.L.D. debriefing. All information to be discussed here is classified and may only be discussed among agents granted clearance by the S.H.I.E.L.D. Director.
Now it's time for your scheduled debriefing. I'm Director Stargate Pioneer.
And I'm Consultant Michelle.
Welcome to Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., a Marvel Comic Universe fan show. The show is recorded on Sunday, August 27th, 2017, live from the Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. studios and broadcast worldwide on www.geeks.live. Michelle, happy National Pots de Creme Day.
What the heck is that?
Well, you know, it's like those little dishes, those little ceramic dishes that you put some really cool, like, creme puddings and desserts in.
Okay, it holds food, so I like that.
Yeah, it holds not only food, but dessert food.
Oh, even better.
That's right. And happy National Just Because Day.
To me, every day is Just Because Day.
Woohoo! It is indeed. Just Because Day, by the way, is a celebration of just anything that you want. So, yeah, today is your day. You pick it, and it's your day. Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a fan-based podcast on the ABC television show Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Marvel's Defenders on Netflix, Legion on FX, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and the Marvel Comic Universe in general.
Because of singing Take On Me.
If you'd like to talk to us about singing 80s pop hits, you can find us on our website, legendsofshield.com.
If you would like to leave us a recording of you singing the classic Aha song, you can leave us a voicemail at 844-THE-BUS-1. That's 844-843-2871.
If you'd like to tell us your favorite lyrics from Take On Me, you can get the ladies at the Facebook page, because I'm not on there, Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. podcast.
You can tweet us how you prefer to listen to 80s pop music at Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D.
And if you want to tell us your favorite 80s pop music song, you can leave us a comment on our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/GonnaGeek.
And remember, Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a proud member of the GonnaGeek.com network.
Well, obviously, we have Michelle with us today, so thank you very much for joining me, Michelle, on this epic tale of Iron Fist.
You're welcome.
So we have to talk a little bit about what's going on with the rest of the crew. Agent Lauren is in the midst of the aftermath of Hurricane Harvey. I just talked to her on text. She actually still has power. She's doing okay, but because things can change rapidly, they decided not to record. She decided not to record with us today. Totally respect that. I actually have some notes from her to talk about during the podcast. So that's why Agent Lauren's not here. Agent Haley, she just skipped. She just said, I'm not coming on Sunday. Bye-bye. So we've got Michelle in with us. And Michelle, again, it's so awesome to have you available because I was hung out to dry.
Well, I'm glad I could, come in and talk about Iron Fist.
Because somebody's got to do it.
Yes. We're doing it.
All right, we're going to do it right now. We're going to transition to Iron Fist. We are watching, and we have watched, and we're going to talk about the 6th episode of the epic Iron Fist Netflix series, Immortal Emerges From Cave. I'm sorry, Michelle, I didn't do any diving into the martial arts movement of Immortal Emerges From Cave. You didn't happen to check that out, did you?
No. For me, the title is, we sort of finally get Danny's take on the story because he has this imaginary conversation with the monk. And we finally sort of learn about a little bit more like the Iron Fist and how he is supposed to be guarding the gate and stuff like that. So for me, it's like the story, you know, he says he's the immortal Iron Fist. So the story of that finally coming into the light and such. That's how I took it.
Yeah, well, I'll take it because I really don't have anything better. And I didn't research the martial arts. So maybe Lauren will come back in after she's done with vacation, because after she's done with the hurricane, she goes on vacation. So Lauren's not actually going to be with us for a few weeks. So hang on. We will hear back from her in the future. But she was really excited to talk about the director of this episode and help me out. How do you pronounce this? Riza? R-Z-A? Riza? Riza. That's what I thought. Riza, who has 3 directing credits to his name starting in 2012 that include the film entitled The Man with Iron Fist from 2012. So go figure. The guy that directed the film about Iron Fist is directing an episode about Iron Fist. He also directed this episode of Iron Fist. You might know Riza from being the rapper and the actor that he is as well. Now, this is one of the things that I asked Lauren about, and this is what she had to say. Is Riza made a movie called The Man with the Iron Fist featuring Dave Bautista in his first acting role. So there's some Marvel crossover right there. He also scored Ghost Dog and is obsessed with martial arts. So this episode, which is where the show goes from blah to slightly better, in Lauren's opinion, is a labor of love. So it was great to have Riza coming in directing this episode. Now, Michelle, we actually had a writer that was embedded in the series as well.
Yes, this episode was written by Dwain Worrell, has 2 credits since 2010, includes one of The Operator, The Wall, and this Iron Fist, and is also a staff writer for the show.
All right. So we've got a couple of people that are just really embedded in the Iron Fist legacy, with a staff writer and somebody that's just a labor of love. So expecting better things from this episode than the first 5 episodes. I think we got it. And I think we got it because, first of all, we got Madame Gao.
Oh, she is so good in this episode. Well, she's just really good in this series. And if you like her in this series, you're going to love her in The Defenders. No spoilers. We learn a lot about her in just, she's on screen for what, maybe 6 minutes or something, but we learn so much that she's been to Kunlun. She actually remembers the tree and she dreams of it almost every night. And she actually asked Danny, why would you leave heaven? And that also, he's not the first Iron Fist she's met.
Ooh, both interesting tidbits, that she's from Kunlun or has been there, and that she knows of other Iron Fists, and she didn't know if she was going to see another Iron Fist in her lifetime. And let's face it, she's not a tweeny bopper anymore. She's been around for a little bit.
Yes, she is mature.
That's an excellent way to put it. She's mature. Michelle coming out with the great PC statements to hold me in check. That's awesome. So not only do we find out more about her, but we find out that she's got Jedi powers.
Oh gosh, that was great, where she was just like, you know, she reveals to Danny that she knew his father. And of course that gets Danny acting like the child he is sometimes. And he's like, you tell me about my dad, blah, 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 blah. And she's just like, poof, like force pushes him away, like, go away, you little nuisance. I'm going to turn away with this big old smile on my face and just walk away.
That's right. She had a smile on a couple of times in this episode. That was great. I think she was maybe just remembering the good old times back in Kunlun or something, or the fact that she's clearly got the upper hand, and then this individual is completely untrained and a novice in all things Iron Fist. So you brought up an important point is Gal knew Wendell Rand, and she didn't say anything about it. Danny was just trying to find out more information, but I could see from Gal's point of view where he could have been a little bit of threatening. So, hey, I've told you enough. Bye-bye. And oh, by the way, she's not honorable at all either, which I go back and forth with Gal. I would think that she is honorable because of the things that she has done with Harold, but she twists and turns that just to fit her whims at any point in time. What do you think about Gal being dishonorable?
Well, we first have to go back to, like at the beginning of the episode, you see these little notes in this old refrain, the time has come. And what it is that, Gal has basically invited Danny to this grand duel, and Danny comes in and says, I am the Iron Fist and I accept your challenge. And then they wash their hands in a little pool. And he's like, these are my terms. If I win, you give me the girl who is the chemist's daughter, and you remove the hand from Rand Enterprises. And then she says, if you win and you still live, you just don't mess with us anymore. And he's like, sure. And then he goes through the fights. I'm sure we'll talk about that. And then at the end, he's ready to basically kill the last guy, and he has his iron fist. And she comes with the girl and with a knife to her throat, and it's like, if you strike him down, I will kill her. So I suppose, yeah, because the terms are, if he wins the challenge, then he'll get the daughter. But he does say, you will give me the daughter. He doesn't say you will give her to me alive. But yeah, she does basically cheat because he's ready to win and to kill the guy. And then he technically would have won and gotten a girl and everything. But it does seems like she is challenging him. But then on her point of view, is he actually the Iron Fist? And that what seems to be a part of this episode is, who is the Iron Fist? Is he really Danny Rand? Is he really the Iron Fist? Why is the Iron Fist in New York when he should be guarding a gate?
Oh yeah, that's another big thing that came out in this episode. Why did Danny Rand leave? And it was a sore spot. It was brought up in, I think, each of the 3 competitions, the challenges that he had to face during this episode, and he never quite answered it. He never quite came out with, this is why I left. So I'm hoping that is answered in the remainder of this series. I don't know. This is as far as I've seen it. We'll find out in the future. So Danny did accept this challenge at the beginning. I remember they were at the wishing well or whatever that is, the little fountain, and they washed their hands and they were agreeing to the terms. Why do you think he accepted this challenge instead of just getting the girl back by brute force?
Because he's under this delusion of what the monks force fed him. You really learned that Danny was abused by the monks, being forced to be trained and everything. And they've given him only one worldview, and that, he needs to defeat the hand, and this is what's been going on, and you do this ritual, and you do this, and everything will work out. Because again, in the magical Kunlun that appears every 15 years, and he's coming to New York to face a hand that has been in modern society for so long. So that's probably why he did it. Madame Gao knew that he's naive.
Or at least she suspected as such. Okay, I'll take that. So Danny accepts the challenge, and I have to admit, I'm not entirely enthralled with the fighting, but it is definitely the best fighting in the series that we've seen to date.
This is where I really feel for Reza. I know for a fact that if he had an actor who could act and fight, this episode would have been amazing. Because like the cinematography was amazing and everything. And it's like he wanted to do like a really long tracking shots of this and all this type of stuff. But he was basically forced to either do really wide shots, shoot Danny from behind. We had a lot of back shots of Danny while he's fighting, a lot of quick cuts. And it's just, Finn Jones was, look, Finn, I'm sure you can act, but you cannot fight. And Iron Fist is a martial arts expert. It's frustrating.
There was one particular moment, and I believe it was in the first fight when he was going after the double threat. And he ends up doing a backflip kick, and then he ends up on the ground. Now, granted, the other two guys are still smarting and on the ground at that point in time, too. But it was clear that he was not moving on the ground, either him or as the stuntman. I think it was him. And it might have been a wire work stunt. I'm not sure. But he was on the ground and not moving for an excessively long period of time from what you would expect in a martial arts film or TV show, where you're expecting the hero or the villain to be mobile the entire time, to not be down and out. And he was. So I don't know if that was a cinematography issue or if that was Finn Jones or a combination of both. I mean, if you have so many things to compensate for, you're going to run into that sort of thing during an entire fight, like Finn Jones not being able to pull off the moves as adeptly as somebody else might be. So it might have been just let in there, but I did notice that. And that was one point that did pull me out. I'm like, hey, well, and I could be looking at it from the standpoint of, I know he can't fight as well as he probably should, so I'm going to nitpick the fights. So that could be as a factor as well. Either case, the fights were amazing. As you pointed out, the cinematography for the three fights were amazing, as well as we'll talk a little bit about the ladies in a little bit about how that fighting went, which was awesome as well. So the daughter was saved, Sabine, of the drug maker, the Radovan, I believe his name was. So Sabine was saved, and shockingly, she did know a little bit of English. I didn't know if she was going to be able to speak English or not. She did, so that was cool. What did you think about her magically knowing English?
Well, you'll be surprised about how many countries actually encourage people to learn English. So it doesn't really surprise me that she knows some English. And I agree with her, like looking at Danny's like, wait a minute, have I been, rescued by a crazy guy? Because he keeps talking to somebody who's not there.
That's right. We did talk about that. He's talking to his master. What's his master's name? In the closed captioning, it actually brought out the master. The Thunderer was the master's name that I caught in the closed captioning. So yes, I did watch it with closed captioning. So yeah, the Thunderer, and Danny turns away from what the Thunderer wants throughout his time, and his decision at the very end to save the girl and not kill the final threat and not kill Gal. So yeah, I'm not sure what he's doing here. Again, we talked about that at the beginning. After the fights, we still don't know what exactly his ultimate strategic goal is here, other than pounding his iron fist wherever he can.
Yeah, he's just confused, and because yes, Madame Gal does act without honor, but then again, like, we don't know if she would have actually killed the woman if he would have actually killed the guy. So it's almost as though she was testing Danny, because this is probably the first Iron Fist that she's met outside of Kunlun, because she's like, why are you here in New York? Everybody's like, why are you here in New York? And I think part of it was she was like testing this guy who might have turned and betrayed his duty. And she figured, and he just revealed himself to be not quite the Iron Fist he should be.
At least not what she perceives an Iron Fist to be. So, yeah, okay. So talking about the drug dealer, he was taken from the ladies, unfortunately. I assume the hand is what eventually got her. And it was interesting that the hospital administration was the one, the same hospital administration that fought Claire in an earlier Netflix Marvel series. It was interesting that they were the ones to enable what was going on. So I think that is going to pop up again in the future, but we'll see.
Well, it's okay. If you're a hospital administrator and a whole bunch of ninjas come in and kill some of your employees, you might be in a position of, okay, do I die? Do I let a whole bunch of other people die? Or do I just, you know what? Fine. This organization, the Hand, if somebody comes along, I will just let them know so a whole bunch of ninjas don't invade my hospital again.
Yeah, I think I would be looking for a new job at that point in time because, once it happens, what a tragedy. The second time, it's okay, well, I think we're in the middle of things here. I think I gotta move. That's what I would do. I'd move. Wouldn't stay. Bye-bye. You're like, Michelle, you and I do a show on Arrow, and we talk a lot about Starling City, now called Star City. I would leave. I wouldn't stick around. I would go find employment somewhere else. I would drop everything and hitch my covered wagon and go west. I wouldn't stick around Northwest. Sorry. New York. Sorry. I wouldn't stay. That's just my 2 cents, but I guess they do. And they're not making things any better. They're not standing up for what's right. I guess people just don't stand up for what's right these days. I don't know. You know who does stand up for what's right? Colleen and Claire. And yeah, even though they don't get Radovan back, they make their mark on the orderlies.
Yes. I'm a little disappointed in Colleen where she's just like, hey, wait for Danny. He'll make everything right. It's like, Colleen, Danny's an idiot. Always listen to Claire. That should be like a motto of every, Netflix show. Claire is always right. Always listen to Claire. And then finally, Colleen's like, well, I guess maybe now we should take him to a hospital. But it's great, because Claire figures out that something is up and she investigates the matter and realizes that, the chemist has been taken, and her and Colleen go and try to find him. And there's that little hallway fight. Colleen takes care of things. And unfortunately, the girls try, but it was a diversion and the guy's taken.
He is. But Colleen definitely leaves her mark. She has a little fight outside the elevator, and she doesn't quite get to Radovan, or even if that was Radovan, because apparently it was all a big distraction. I think it was Radovan at that point in time, but you don't know what is what. Sleight of hand sort of thing. So yeah, Colleen can still take care of things, and so can Claire, because give Claire a fire extinguisher and she'll knock you out.
Yes, she will.
She'll also reference her boyfriend. Sweet Christmas.
Oh, I loved hearing that.
It's awesome. And it was like, oh yeah, we got some Luke Cage action in there. Even though it was Claire. Might as well be one and the same. I think we can call them boyfriend and girlfriend now. Michelle, what do you think?
Oh, yes.
Okay. That is an affirmative. We'll go with it. Now, from the coolness to the, I can't believe we're talking about this. Ward is just a broken, he is addicted because he can't have his pills and he goes into withdrawal hard.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's that every day you see a decapitated head on a pole, but he really loses it and he just can't handle it. And, there's that scene with Joy and he throws away all his pills, but then he sees the decapitated head and he wants his pills again. And he freaks out and he does what a lot of addicts do, and that's hurt themselves in order to go get some pain pills, like Oxy and such. But yeah, he's withdrawing hard.
He's messed up. Yeah, he said he didn't have a problem, but obviously he does, because he can't have his pills and he starts sweating. You can see the red eyes starting. And yeah, he's dealing with some stuff with the severed head. I get that part of things, but the fact it comes out that he is in fact addicted to those pills and he needs them. So we'll see where that rides for the rest of the series. I think it might be important just because of the connections to the drugs on the street and the fact that Ward might get messed up in them and then take Rand down with him as well. And talking about Rand Corporation, we bring in the Crisis Intervention Resources, which says that Danny is actually the best thing that's ever happened to Rand Corporation. So we'll see where that leads, right, Michelle?
Danny has whined and whined and whined about becoming Danny Rand again and getting his company. And then once he does, he's just like, yeah, whatever. I'm just going to do stuff and ruin things for you.
At least for now. So we'll see if he starts to wise up corporately or not. I think he understands a little bit about what's going on, but he also in his mind, he understands that there's other bigger strategic things afoot, and he's trying to find that. He understands that Ram Corporation is corrupt from the inside. He's trying to fix that. He also understands that there's this big, both external and internal threat in the hand, and he's trying to take care of that as well. So Danny's doing the best he can outside the court, the boardroom, and we'll see where that leads. Talking about other people, though, we have no J Money in this episode. We have no Harold Meacham, which, but I think that's notable that this whole thing with Gao is going on and there's no Harold at all. So wondering when Harold's going to pop up again.
Well, he'll pop up soon and he'll pop up again. No spoilers.
All right. And then also, I love the fact that they are not mentioning names. Matter of fact, I'm not liking it at all. I'm liking the references, but I'm not liking the fact that they're not calling the Hulk out by name. They're not saying Hulk. They're just saying big green guy, which could be anything really. So it's almost disassociated entirely with the Marvel Universe. Just call him the Hulk. Everybody knows him. He's the Hulk. Call him the Hulk. Don't say the big green guy. Well, Michelle, what do you think about the Hulk being just referred to as the big green guy?
Yeah, it's lame. You know, they call the invasion from aliens the incident, which, you know, you stub your toe, that could be called an incident. It's very lame. It just seems as though somebody in Marvel HQ was like, maybe we shouldn't have done hashtag it's all connected. And they're now trying to make like little islands in their universe. So it's disappointing.
Yeah, and it's even getting worse now with how Marvel has buddied up with Sony with Spider-Man, so we'll see what's included in the MCU and what's not. I don't know. We'll see how this all plays out. Eventually, I just have the sense that it's going to break. It's just a question of when. I mean, like completely break. So we'll see when that happens. Overall, this is probably my favorite episode of Iron Fist so far, just because of the fighting at the end, and we're getting to the real reason and the mystical things behind Iron Fist. Michelle, what did you think about this compared to the first 5 episodes?
Yeah, it is a highlight. You know, episode 2, to me was a better pilot than the actual first episode. So it's kind of like episode 2 and then you skip a whole bunch and then you watch this one and it kind of gets better. It gets better. I have to tell myself that.
I don't know. I haven't seen it yet, so we'll see. We got 7 episodes left until we get to the Defenders, and yeah, really looking forward to getting to the Defenders. Now, Haley's not with us, Michelle, but in order to keep your mind occupied during the episode, you actually wrote down some quotes, didn't you?
Yes, because like you said, I had to. Kept me watching.
Well, we appreciate you taking the hit and watching it in the first place, but we are excited to hear your quote. So why don't you give us the first one?
Doubt leads to death.
Yep. Doubt leads to death. That's kind of a Jedi thing there. You know, fear leads to hate. Hate leads to anger. But so, yeah, a little Jedi thing going.
Monastery boy in an Aston Martin.
I know, the rags to riches in there. And then he comes back with, oh, by the way, I had the fastest donkey cart in Kunlun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Danny, what you're talking about is crazy.
Yeah, okay, Danny is crazy. I think we've established that. We got a little cray-cray going here. Looking forward to some stabilization of Danny Rand, if it ever happens in the future.
Yes. You mean I have more experience fighting the Hand than you do?
That was great with Claire. Oh, that was awesome. I have more experience fighting. Yes, you do. And yeah, it's kind of sad that the ladies weren't asked to be part of the fight, but at the same time they had to go through the whole Radovan thing. So
I have a vision of total victory and nothing else.
Yeah, nothing else. They haven't envisioned what happens after total victory. Okay.
You're a woman?
Yeah. There are women in the world, and specifically there are women in Iron Fist that mostly are the best characters in the entire series.
I'm thinking I'll let you handle this.
Yes, and then comes the awesome moves from Colleen. I think I'd have to go back and watch again if I even wanted to, but I think she actually spun his arm around like 4 times.
Yeah, it's cool. These childish insults are getting tiring. It's like you all trained at the same playground.
Yeah, it was getting a little bit old, but the thing was they were slightly working on him. You could see that every time they mentioned something that a little bit of doubt and a little bit of anger crept in. So I think it worked from their perspective, although they all lost the fight. So I don't know how well it worked.
And in my last quote, what do I care for honor?
Exactly. Gao coming out with the dishonor quote. All right, we'll see what happens in the future. Iron Fist episode 7, Felling Tree with Roots. Hopefully, if all goes well, we'll record that in a couple of days on Thursday. So looking forward to that. Hey, we know we didn't have Lauren here on this podcast. You can blame Hurricane Harvey for that. But if you are looking for more Lauren, what you can do is go over to Tyrion's Landing, which is also on the GonnaGeek.com network. Go to their episode on Eastwatch, which is their episode number 124, and Lauren will return to Tyrion's Landing as they break down the episode Beyond the Wall. So once again, you can go check that out at GonnaGeek.com, episode number 124 of Tyrion's Landing on Eastwatch. It's time to move on to some news. In the absence of the ladies, Michelle, you have come through with your awesome experience from the Starling Tribune, and you have thrown together some great news stories to go down. So first of all, let's talk about how well Marvel is dominating the box office in 2017.
Sure. Wonder Woman passes Spider-Man to become the highest grossing superhero origin movie ever at the domestic box office.
Wait. What? Wonder Woman? That's not a Marvel film. So are you saying that Marvel's not dominating the box office in 2017?
Well, when it comes to origin movies, Wonder Woman is just dominating. So according to the article, it's beating out Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, the original 2002 Spider-Man film, which starred Tobey Maguire, held on to the top spot for 15 years with a total domestic take of $403.7 million. But as of Monday, the top spot belongs to Wonder Woman. Box Office Mojo has the film's current domestic gross at just over $404 million and counting.
Interesting. You know, just last night I was listening to a live recording of the Pop Culture Cast, also another podcast on the GetAGeek.com network. It was their 100th episode, and they were talking about how August was the most dismal on record, at least recent record, for the film industry. I wonder if the dearth of good films in the second half of the summer have enabled films like Wonder Woman to just rake things in, not taking anything away from Wonder Woman, but I think it paved the way for Wonder Woman to pull off this fundamental feat, in addition to being such a great film in its entirety.
Yeah, a lot of people actually taking their dollars and they're watching it multiple times. I mean, it is one of the bright spots. There was a Pirates of the Caribbean film that came and went. The Transformers came and went. The Tom Cruise movie came and went. It's just right time, right type of movie. It is an excellent movie. So I'm really glad it has succeeded as well as it has.
It's kind of funny to me. I was trying to think of when I was listening to Pop Culture Cast last night, or Pop Culture Cosmos, excuse me. As I was listening to them last night, I was thinking, I can't even remember what the films were this summer. So I actually had to pull up a 2017 film list that were released. And I don't even remember Transformers and the Mummy, the whole Mummy thing. I think we're of the same mind. Give us Brandon Fraser, those types of movies, and this Tom Cruise dark thing just didn't work for us. So I didn't go out and see it. So yeah, there's been the Pirates of the Caribbean. I think that was out for like a week, and not quite that bad, but I don't remember really catching the really big oomph from those movies as I did from Wonder Woman or from Spider-Man. Those are like the two big movies this summer, and I think that movie houses really lost out on the August box office. Now, is August... I'll have to take a look and see if August is traditionally a really powerhouse month or not. I don't think it really is. I mean, I think there's been some big movies in August, but I think overall, because people are getting ready to go back to school. They're getting into fall sports. I think there's some other things going on in August. In any event, Wonder Woman pulling in this tremendous amount of domestic cash is great to see. And Marvel, take note. You have a Captain Marvel movie coming up. It better be good.
Yes. And a Black Widow movie would work too if they did it right.
It's true. It's not on the schedule right now, though. And unfortunately, Captain Marvel is the only one they've got on the schedule. So we'll see how that happens. I think Scarlett Johansson has come out and said she'd still want to do one, but I'm wondering if the time has passed for that. I don't know. We'll have to see how this phase 3 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe actually pulls off before we make those judgments. So we've got another great story that you've pulled about the path that people have been taking watching the Netflix Marvel series.
Yeah, sort of continuing how women kick butt. Instead of going chronologically, Netflix found that much of its audience wanted to meet its resident butt-kicking woman first. The most popular viewing order starts with Jessica Jones, then moves to Daredevil, Luke Cage, and finally Iron Fist. So 1 in 8 Marvel watchers is new to comic-based content before diving into their first superhero show, and that's according to Netflix. So yes, Jessica Jones.
It definitely was a phenomenally written and performed series, and I can't see any reason why not this would happen. Although there's 2 seasons of Daredevil out there, so I don't know. I'm wondering how things are going there. And of course, the Defenders aren't on there either. So I'm wondering if people are trying to, like me, are trying to get through all the series before they watch the Defenders. I don't know. We'll see. I'm sure Netflix will come out with some story like that in a couple of years. In the meantime, let's move on back into the small screen that's broadcast. Marvel's Inhumans, they have another great trailer with some phenomenal new footage, right?
I wouldn't use the word phenomenal. I would use marginally improved. Medusa's hair looks a little bit better. But it's very much the actor standing still with the hair being cool. Really haven't seen anything where she is moving and the hair is also doing its thing. But it looks a little bit better.
All right. So I did go back and I rewatched a lot of the other trailers. I haven't seen this one yet. And as far as the story goes, I'm interested just to see the story, but it's not grabbing me like a lot of the other Marvel stuff has. So this might be something that I have on to watch in the background, and we'll talk about it here on the show and what our thoughts are as it airs in the fall here. But for something that was supposed to be a featured motion picture, I have my qualms about how they're actually pulling this off. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I'm not going to totally poo-poo it anymore, but the Medusa thing, I can get where that's going, because in the comics, Medusa's hair, especially in the Humans versus X-Men series, the event earlier this year. Yeah. And if you want to hear more about that, that's over on Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. Long Box Edition. You can hear all about how Lauren and I both differ and agree on parts of that. But the Medusa's hair here in the Inhumans TV series might be just a little bit before its time. I don't know. We'll find out. Okay, moving on into other Netflix series, we have some Punisher news.
Yes, the upcoming Marvel Netflix series, The Punisher, has added Academy Award nominated actress Shohreh Aghdashloo, who's from the film House of Sand and Fog and is currently in the TV show The Expanse, which is an awesome show, by the way. She will be Farah Madani, and a successful Iran-born psychiatrist who has spent most of her life living in the United States. Farah is the mother of Dinah Madani, who's played by Amber Rose Reva, a skilled Homeland Security agent tasked with pursuing ultraviolet vigilante Frank Castle, also known as the Punisher. So,
I can't wait to see her in another series in The Expanse. She's so good. I have progressed in my watch, by the way. I'm up to season 2, episode 7. So really savoring those episodes, and it's so good. It's my favorite sci-fi ever. And for those of you wondering if it's your favorite sci-fi ever, why haven't you watched the whole thing? It's because I have been savoring them, because I know that it's all I've got for a few months. So yes, this is one of the things I'm like, I really got to get my fix. And I watch, even the slow episodes are so amazing. So I can't wait to get to the end of the season 2. And she is one of the gems, one of the stars, one of the highlights. And she's only on screen for, I don't know, like 3 to 5 minutes per episode, but she is really awesome in all the episodes. All right. So moving on into other Netflix stuff, we have Daredevil season 3 news.
Yeah, production for Daredevil is set to begin October 15th and finish June 30th. The turnaround for these shows from wrap to hitting Netflix is usually 3 to 4 months. But of course, that all depends on the schedule on Netflix for Marvel shows. But that is a long time. I mean, obviously there'll be a holiday break, November, December, but wow, that is a long production. Of course, probably then for 13 episodes, it makes sense.
And it depends on how much time they take with the choreography as well. The fight choreography is what I'm talking about. And of course, if they have a musical episode, that would be awesome to see the Daredevil dancing one, wouldn't it be?
Only if Foggy gets a solo.
That would be awesome. Oh, the fight choreography turns into real dance choreography. Awesome. All right. Moving on into other choreography talk, let's talk about Finn Jones and Iron Fist Season 2.
Hey, Finn Jones said, "Now, just going to let you know, moving into Season 2 of Iron Fist, I'm actually starting my training next week. We're at least 4 or 5 months away from shooting, so this time around, I'm being given a lot more preparation leading up to Season 2, which I think is really going to have a huge improvement on the quality of the fight scenes in Season 2 of Iron Fist."
Well, at least they're doing something about him.
Oh my God. Like, it's like you're playing. Look, Finn Jones, you're a good actor. I really feel for you that they did not give you enough time going into this first season and everything. But I do think that he was miscast. fine, they were going to go white boy route, but I know there are plenty of other white boys who can fight and act. It's just, so he's better in the Defenders. So when you watch the Defenders, his fighting has improved, because, he's on screen with Charlie Cox. He had to have gotten better. So if he keeps progressing that way, he will, I think, achieve decent by the time season 2 comes around.
We'll find out soon enough. And I'm just glad that they're addressing it, because it has been a main detractor. It's not like, oh no, we can't say anything about it. Yeah, admit it and then move on. I think that's the best that they can do at this point in time. Or they can recast him, and that's possible too, but I don't know if they want to take all the trouble to go through that. I don't know. We'll see how things progress there. But thank you very much, Michelle, for bringing this news story as well as the true fight story of the week. So what do you got with that? If you were Marvel, what would you consider to be the highliner fight of the year for Marvel on small screen or big screen?
Well, Thor versus the Hulk.
So what do you got talking about that?
Well, there's this little teaser trailer that was released, and it's, first off, it starts with, Jeff Goldblum, fight time, and whenever you start with Jeff Goldblum, you got a winner. It showcases a lot more of the battle between Thor and the Hulk, and it looks like Thor got a couple of more punches in, but come on, I think we all know the Hulk's going to win. There's more Valkyrie fighting and a lot more of Cate Blanchett, Hela fighting, and it's a nice little fighting teaser.
Looking forward to that movie in November, as well as, crossing the streams here. Justice League is out there. That will be interesting to compare and contrast those two films, because they're coming out like 2 weeks apart from each other. So we'll really be able to tell about the state of both cinematic universes at that point in time. Michelle, thank you so much for bringing those news stories to us. We really appreciate all of the delving into the Marvel universe, since you're normally talking about the DC universe, and just appreciate that. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right. It's time. You know what? It's time to mystically force push this one out. Thank you, Madam Gal, for helping getting this podcast finished. I want to thank our listeners. Thank you very much for sticking with us through Iron Fist. And because Lauren's going to be out, we're going to have some guests roll in the next few episodes. So just stay tuned for those as they come on. And Michelle, thank you so much for taking the hit, watching this, and getting some great quotes and news stories for us this week. You make Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. better.
Well, thank you very much. And also thank you to those who tweet, interact with everybody on Twitter, on Facebook and such. I know definitely Lauren really appreciates the Twitter interaction. And, again, thank you to everyone who downloads this and listens to this show, even when I'm on.
Especially when you're on. So with that, I'll say it's time to say goodbye until next time. Until next time. I'm Director Stargate Pioneer.
And I'm Consultant Michelle.
See you guys next time here on legendsofshield.com.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. If you want to leave us feedback, go to gonnageek.com and you will find all our contact information and other shows. You can also visit legendsofshield.com, where you'll find our complete archive of podcasts. The music heard on this podcast is by Kevin MacLeod, found at incompetech.com, and also artists on pond5.com and audiojungle.net. The opinions heard on this podcast are those of the individual hosts and do not represent Stargate Pioneer Productions, Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D., or Gonna Geek. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is the property of the Disney Corporation, Marvel Studios, and ABC. No infringement is intended. Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. is copyright 2017.
Broadcast has been successfully terminated.